In response to Prime Minister Lawrence Wong's video titled Tackling Cost of Living Concern, uploaded on 2nd October, netizens expressed that the Singapore government should address fundamental issues like transport and rental costs, rather than relying on measures such as distributing Community Development Council vouchers. In the 6-minute video, PM Wong acknowledged that although inflation has moderated, the cost of living remains a significant issue for many Singaporeans. PM Wong assured Singaporeans that his team is committed to helping them through this challenging period. He emphasized that while inflation is expected to decline further in 2024, prices will still rise from time to time. He explained that delaying price adjustments would only worsen the situation in the future, but the government will work on mitigating the impact of any necessary increases. The Prime Minister outlined that the long-term solution to managing living costs is to ensure Singaporeans have access to good jobs with better wages. He added that higher wages should outpace inflation, allowing citizens to improve their living standards in real terms. PM Wong also provided an economic outlook for 2024, predicting higher growth and lower inflation, which could lead to increases in real incomes for workers. He noted that the government is closely monitoring economic conditions for 2025 and will reveal more of its plans in the upcoming budget. Recapping earlier initiatives, PM Wong said the government has allocated over $10 billion through the assurance package to help Singaporeans cope with rising living costs, including enhancements to the package. He highlighted that this year, every household has received 800 Singapore dollars in CDC vouchers, alongside utility rebates and cash payouts. PM Wong also touched on global inflation trends, explaining how disruptions from the pandemic and global conflicts affected prices. He assured Singaporeans that the government has taken measures, such as strengthening the Singapore dollar, to shield them from the worst of these effects. Hundreds of netizens have voiced their concerns under a Facebook post by the Straits Times on PM Wong's video criticizing the government's approach to addressing cost of living issues. Many users expressed frustration, noting that despite the government's repeated reassurances about helping Singaporeans, there's been a lack of action to address the ongoing increases in utility and transport fares. Others echoed similar sentiments, with one user blaming the increase in GST to 9% as a major factor contributing to the rising cost of living. As Finance Minister, PM Wong was the key advocate of the GST hike and defended it when the opposition called for a deferment. One netizen criticized the government's actions as being counterproductive. They pointed out that while the government raises prices in several areas, it simultaneously claims to be providing help, which they view as contradictory. Many commenters also criticized the distribution of CDC vouchers as insufficient, urging the government to tackle root issues such as high rental and housing costs. One netizen argued that CDC vouchers provide little relief, and reducing rental, medical, and food costs would be a more effective solution. Another user called for standardized rental prices for hawker stalls and suggested that the government should fine landlords who raise rents excessively. Other commenters focused on the need for more substantial measures, such as controlling hawker stall and coffee shop leases. They argued that skyrocketing rental prices directly affect consumers through higher food costs. One user proposed reducing government officials' salaries and reforming other key policies, such as lowering the GST and making housing more affordable as real solutions. Additionally, some netizens highlighted the need to address transport and rental costs, noting that higher transport and raw material costs will continue to drive up consumer prices. They urged the government to reduce rent for commercial shops and food stalls. Some netizens expressed doubts about the government's efforts to address the cost of living, calling for more transparency and concrete actions. Many have called for clear metrics, such as housing prices, certificate of entitlement prices, transportation costs, and population growth, to be presented as proof of the government's commitment to tackling these issues. Other commenters urged the government to avoid short-term solutions, such as payouts, which could ultimately lead to higher taxpayer costs. They suggested more long-term measures, including lowering CPF contribution rates, which they view as a financial burden on lower-income earners.